I guess it's time for a speeding bulletin. Well, here's what happened in the week October 25th to October 31st, 2013. A week in which we learned a few more details about the upcoming Superman-Batman movie. More behind-the-scenes video clips for Man of Steel were posted online. And we saw the first trailer for the upcoming Justice League War animated movie. Let's check out these stories and more in this speeding bulletin. In movie news, Zack Snyder has set up a production office for the upcoming Batman vs Superman movie in Raleigh, Michigan studios in Pontiac. According to Production Weekly, production designer Patrick Totopoulos is on board the movie and will collaborate with cinematographer Larry Fong. Our own sources indicate that over the next few days, filming for the new movie might be taking place at the Kent Farm area in Yorkville, Illinois. ComicBookMovie.com received a number of tidbits regarding the upcoming Superman-Batman movie. While most of the information from their sources were Batman related, regarding to the Batmobile, Batman's costume, and whether Ben Affleck was at the recent filming at East LA College, they did say that Henry Cavill just received a copy of David Goya's script and that you can expect alterations to Superman's costume, as there are two separate teams working on the suits. How Superman's costume could change, or even why they feel there is a need for a change, isn't explained or examined in the report. 411mania.com managed to sit down for an exclusive interview with Ben Affleck and asked him about his thoughts on being cast in the role of Batman for the upcoming movie. He said, "Initially I was reluctant as I felt I didn't fit the traditional mould, but once Zack showed me the concept and that it would be both different from the great movies that Chris and Christian made, but still in keeping with the tradition, I was excited." Adam West, who played Batman in the 1960s live-action TV series, spoke about wanting to play Bruce Wayne's father in the upcoming Superman-Batman movie. He said, "People would stand up and cheer, but that's just, a cockeyed idea of mine." Warner Brothers released a number of new behind-the-scenes video clips from Man of Steel. These videos are from the bonus material, which will be available in the Blu-ray DVD release of Man of Steel, which will be released in the USA and Canada on November 12. It's already available in some countries around the world and will be on shelves in Australia from November 6th and the UK and Europe in the first week of December. Buy yours now from our online store. Warner Brothers Home Entertainment released the first trailer for the upcoming animated movie Justice League War, which will be available as a Blu-ray combo pack, DVD and for digital download on February 4th. When the powerful Darkseid and his massive relentless forces invade Earth, a group of previously unaligned superheroes, misunderstood and in some cases hunted by the authorities, discover the only way to fend off the attack will be to work together as a cohesive unit. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Shazam, and in his origin story, Cyborg, combine their respective talents in an all-out battle to save the planet. Necessary Evil, Supervillains of DC Comics, an all-new documentary produced by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment and DC Entertainment, is now available on Blu-ray and DVD. Necessary Evil explores the thin line between right and wrong, the nature of evil, and how supervillains can reflect society's dark side, as well as our own personal fears. Buy yours from our online store. Yes, we have some TV news this week, and Warner Archives has released the fourth and final season of the live-action Superboy TV series on DVD. For a limited time only, the official WBShop.com has a number of copies of The Adventures of Superboy, the complete fourth season, autographed by Gerard Christopher. In comic book news, DC Entertainment President Diane Nelson announced that DC Comics will be moving from their longtime headquarters in New York City to Burbank, California, to join with their digital and administrative divisions. The move, which is set to happen in 2015, has been on the cards for a while now, with many industry observers considering it an inevitable decision necessary to consolidate the DC Entertainment business to one location. DC Comics released a list of upcoming stories set to be published within the pages of the standalone, continuity-free Adventures of Superman comic book series through the end of the year. Fans can look forward to stories by Derek Fieldhoffs, Jim Kruger and Peter Milligan, to name a few. Comic books we reviewed this week included Superman number 24, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who said, "The action is solid even though the story is not," and he gave it a 4 out of 5. Michael J. Petty reviewed Justice League number 24, giving it a 5 out of 5, saying, Everything about it was something I liked and something that intrigued me. DC Universe vs. Masters of the Universe number 2 was reviewed by our joint team of Keith Summerer and Michael Bailey, with Keith giving it a 5 out of 5, saying, "I absolutely loved the writing this issue." Keith also reviewed Teen Titans number 24, saying, "This issue, though a little confusing in some places, was absolutely fantastic," and he also gave this a 5 out of 5. And Justice League Beyond 2.0 Chapter 6 was reviewed by T.A. Hewitt, who gave it a 3 out of 5, calling it quite entertaining. Superman comics available this week from October 30th include Adventures of Superman Chapter 27 digital comic has been available since October 28th. Action Comics Annual number 2. Smallville Season 11 Special number 3. Teen Titans Annual number 2. Smallville Season 11 Chapter 69 digital comic will be available November 1st. Superman Adventures The Man of Steel trade paperback. Superman The Man of Steel Believe trade paperback. And DC Comics 1 Million Omnibus hardcover. Keep your loose change safe with these Superman money banks. Grab yourself a Superman New 52 Bust money bank, a steal at just $14.99. And check out this cute Superman piggy bank available for just $21. These and other great Superman money banks are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, game publisher Little Orbit announced the cancellation of Nintendo Wii and Wii U editions of the upcoming Young Justice Legacy video game. There were a number of reasons ranging from quality issues to lack of retailer support. The Xbox 360, PS3, 3DS and Steam versions will be available in November. Warner Brothers Consumer Products is partnering with leading figurine manufacturer Schleich on a new line of non-articulated figurines based on the DC Comics pantheon of superheroes. Created for young fans and collectors alike, these figures will feature detailed character representations of beloved DC Comics superheroes, including Superman, Batman, Green Lantern and more. The first line will be launched in January 2015. Nika has released images of its upcoming Man of Steel Black Suit Superman 1/4 scale figure. Scheduled to be released in early 2014, this limited edition figure stands just over 18 inches tall and features nearly 30 points of articulation, an incredibly realistic portrait sculpt and a fabric cape. This version of the Man of Steel is in his black costume with a black cape and an interchangeable set of hands. At halftime of a recent football game, the Ohio State University Marching Band performed their tribute to Hollywood blockbuster films, which started off with a magnificent tribute to Superman, with both John Williams and Hans Zimmer's themes included. It's well worth checking out. Last but by no means least, episode 106 of Radio KAL, the monthly podcast of the Superman homepage, is now available to listen to. In this show, Scotty and I discussed the Superman 75th anniversary animated short, Man of Steel being released to Blu-ray and DVD, Superman Batman filming, Superman costume tour, Mad Magazine's tribute to Man of Steel, Justice League War, New York Comic Con, all the latest comic books, Halloween and much more. Listen to it now at supermanhomepage.com/radio. And that's all the Superman news there was for the week October 25th to October 31st. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to a scary episode of Great Scott. Are you frightened? You shouldn't be. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. There's nothing scary about me, except my hair and my beard and my enormous bulk and my face. But enough of me. This show isn't about me at all. This is Great Scott, after all. We must talk about Superman. It's Halloween time, and there are many, many things that I do not like about Halloween. I don't like when there's hair in my mouth when I'm trying to record. Cut! God dang it. I don't like that it's cold. I don't like that they have Halloween for kids dressing up in costumes and going outside when it's 30 degrees out, when it's windy, when sometimes it's snowing. Luckily,
as I'm recording this, tomorrow is Halloween, and it's meant to be about 60-some degrees throughout the day. And there will be some showers, but 60 is a temperature that is at least able to be dealt with. It's not freezing cold. I've been out there when there have been snow flares. I've been out there when it's been pouring the whole time. I've been out there when it's been 30, when it's been 20. So it won't be too bad tomorrow. But I mean, these kids got to wear costumes. They got to wear them. You know, you can't wear coats over your costume, otherwise it destroys the whole purpose. And let's face it, Halloween is mainly a holiday for children. A lot of adults like to dress up and go to parties and things, and those things can be kind of fun. But, you know, I was speaking to Steve on this week's edition of Radio KAL, where we talked a little bit about Halloween, and there is no Halloween celebrated in Australia, and I told him he could have ours, and I'm sure that most of you watching now won't have anything to say about that. There are things I don't like. Some of the idea of Halloween, I understand. I like ghouls and zombies, and I like jack-o'-lanterns, and I like dressing up. I'm an actor after all, so those things can be fun. Doing it to go out and knock on people's doors and collect candy with the kids, they like it, so I suppose it's okay. But again, I wish it was warmer. They should have Halloween like August 31st, you know, at the very least September 1st, because it's too cold most of the time when you get to October. Even though it'll be supposedly in the 60s tomorrow as a high, I think it'll end up being colder once it's dark, and you know, we'll be somewhere near 48 or so, and it'll still be too chilly for walking around. But why do I bring all this up? This reminds me of something else I don't like, and it's similar to Halloween, and it's going on in the Superman comic books right now, and that is the change of many of the characters that many of us grew up with Superman on. Technically, I guess I had already grown up by 1993 or 4 when the 4 imposter Supermen showed up after Superman had been killed by Doomsday and proclaimed to be the real Superman. They were all in disguise, obviously, much like many of us will be for Halloween. They were all pretending, much like many of us do on Halloween, and none of them were truly Superman. Some of them were heroic underneath, and yet some of them were villainous. The one, of course, I'm speaking of is Cyborg Superman, Hank Henshaw. He was an astronaut who went up into space and had some strange things happen to him, and he blamed Superman for a number of different things. I think the death of his wife, because she might have been on a mission with him. I think the idea that his molecular structure had been changed and he had fused with metallic objects and was able to transform parts of his body into metal. He was a little bit like Metallo, and he was a little bit like the Fantastic Four. It was a space mission. It was a failed space mission, and it turned him into what he considered to be a freak, and I believe, if I'm not incorrect in this, killed his wife. And so Superman didn't come to save him, and so he had a vendetta against Superman, and that was Hank Henshaw, who would then become the Cyborg Superman. Nowadays, the Cyborg Superman is disguised as a very different person, and most of the people that I'm talking to are not all that happy with the direction that they have decided to go. If I were a creator, if I were the one who came up with the idea, my feelings would be hurt even more. But I realize that sometimes creators who create these secondary and thirdary characters don't really have any input. They create it, they draw it, they come up with the story, and then DC is the owner. Much like DC was the owner with between Schuster and Siegel when they created Superman and then got fired for their hard work. Some of their hard work was finally paid off when their family eventually got a stipend, $20,000 a year, and through the years there have been other court cases which have rewarded them more money for their creation of a legend. The Cyborg Superman, not necessarily so much of a legend, but a big part of a big story that got me into reading Superman comics and has continued to this day. I was a big Superman fan, as I've told all of you, from the time I was 4 and possibly earlier, but my closest memory of being a huge Superman fan is kind of a made-up one that I imagine based on what my mother and father tell me when we went to see Superman the movie in the theater, that I was a young boy of 4 years old and that I had a red dinner napkin tied around my neck and that I was so excited pretending to fly and waiting for Superman to appear on the screen. Since then, I've been a massive Superman fan, but I wasn't much of a comics collector until the announcement that Superman would be killed in the comics. I started collecting then, and I haven't stopped. It's gotten a little slower with the New 52 and also the advent of digital technology. I'm reading most of my books online now, but I don't like it as much. There's something fun about going to the store and getting your stack of books that have been on hold for you for however many days or weeks. There were times that I let them go 3 months, and then I'd read straight through the stack. I'd take all the Superman and I'd read them in order to make sure I got the whole story, and I'd take all the action and I'd read them in order to make sure I got the whole story. Reading so many books out of order and in so many different continuities gets to be very confusing, and there's something that's just missing from downloading a comic from Comixology or whatever and reading it digitally on a tablet or on a computer. It's you can zoom into panels, so that's nice, but I don't find the same joy that I used to get when I would go to the store. But back to change and back to things I don't like. I'm not a big fan of, spoiler alert, the cyborg Superman being Zor-El. It makes no sense as Zor-El. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I guess they thought they wanted to make it more personal. They wanted to make it someone who really had a connection to the Superman family. Zor-El, Supergirl, Kara Zor-El's father from Krypton, who until now was thought to have been killed on, and every other continuity had been killed on Krypton when Krypton exploded. There have been some different stories, Return to Krypton or whatever it was, the world of New Krypton, where I guess her family lived in order to be the new Kryptonian race when the Bottle City was expanded and when Superman tried to create a new Krypton. But now we have Brainiac involved in the creation of the cyborg, Brainiac still entangled with the destruction of Krypton and the preserving of worlds and trying to steal knowledge and things as worlds are dying, and not really being concerned with saving life, which has always kind of been Brainiac's MO. He's interested in technology and knowledge. But now he somehow, and there hasn't been an explanation yet, and I'm assuming there will be, or hopefully they'll change this once they hear all the backlash, and there has been a lot. People are just not all that happy with Zor-El suddenly being the cyborg. And it also makes no sense that Brainiac and Zor-El would start calling this creature that Brainiac created Cyborg Superman. They don't know who Superman is. They've never met Superman. Superman was sent away as a baby. They don't know his uniform. They know the general colors, I guess, of the House of El, although none of the times we've seen Jor-El or Zor-El or Kara when she was still living on Krypton, none of those times were they wearing the blue and red with the red symbol and the red cape. But somehow the cyborg Superman, who is Zor-El now, knows that these are the colors he needs to wear and knows that he should be called Cyborg Superman. And somehow Brainiac knew that and called him. It makes no sense. I don't like it. Fix it. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up to the sky.